Head over to thebestsongever.com and purchase our new hit, Together Again. It is a cover of Smokey Mike and the God King. That's Jeremy Boring and Michael Knowles. And with your help, we will smash our way onto the Billboard charts. Christian former military officer beheads satanic shrine in Iowa state capitol. The world may tell Christians to submissively accept the legitimization of Satan, but none of the founders would have considered government sanction of satanic altars inside Capitol buildings as protected by the First Amendment. I disagree. I half agree. I do think that there were obscenity laws and there were moral standards. And as much as the founding fathers did believe in free speech, I still think they would have been morally outraged at the idea of a satanic altar. And at that point, I think Constitution wouldn't even have mattered back then. Today, it's a different story. But here's the story. Michael Cassidy, a Christian and former military officer, tore down and beheaded the Satan altar in the Iowa Capitol on Thursday. We're now learning that Turning Point USA is pledging $10,000 to the legal fund of Michael Cassidy, Christian veteran who beheaded satanic idol in Iowa State Capitol. Well, I'm going to ask Luke what he thinks first, because he's the anarchist over here.
Yeah, same thing. Is it confirmed satanic?
Listen, there's a lot of demon worshipers inside of the government. That's a fact. Now, do you have freedom of religion? Do you have freedom of speech and expression? I think so as well. And I think we have to understand that there's a delicate kind of line that we have to go down here, as of course we still got to respect people's individuals' liberty. But let's call out the Satanists as well. You don't have to resort to BLM tactics in order to kind of express your opinion.
Was it actually satanic? Or
yes.
Was
it? It has Baphomet and the tenets of Satanism and all that stuff. And, I am not a fan of Satanism. I am not ignorant to Satanism. I've read their tenets. I understand what they're saying. I'm not a fan of it. I also think, Luke, get the nail on the head with the hammer, you shouldn't resort to BLM tactics. Don't legitimize the things that left do when they don't want to go through the proper procedure and policy. I think the challenge here would be to counter it through the system because we want to maintain stability and order. And in fact, I'd argue this is the exact response the left was hoping for.
Yeah, I'm a constitutional absolutist. I do believe every religion should, like, if we can't accept satanic, even though I don't accept satanic people, I don't think there's anything valid in what they believe, but I have to respect the fact that this is their religion. Then one day, what could happen if Christianity is banned? And that, I don't think that that's far off from happening. So unfortunately, we have to kind of accept the beliefs of these people. And I guess their statue that they had there was in response to something like, I think that there was a monument of the 10 Commandments, and then they wanted to put this satanic statue up to say they want their freedom of religion.
Yeah, listen, most government bureaucrats are secret demons. If they're out in the open, overt demons, tell me more about it. I want to know that you're a demon. And attacking it again. If the shoe was on the other foot, if this was a Satanist attacking a Christian symbol, people would have a very different reaction than they are right now. Kind of complimenting this.
But I do want to stress this: Satanism is not necessarily the worship of Satan, and I think it's important we can go through what was actually on that altar, because I'll tell you this right now. Woke people in this country are not Satanists, according to the Satanic Temple, and the people who are with the Satanic Temple do not actually follow their own tenets. Such as, the first, one should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. Well, we know for a fact they don't do that. I mean, you go around smashing buildings, smashing windows, starting fires, and attacking people. That's not compassion. The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should never prevail over laws and institutions. That's funny. They've captured the institutions and used laws to destroy the lives of people during the mandates and the lockdowns. So it doesn't seem like they follow that tenet. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Now that one really gets me going right there.
What does that mean? One's body is inviolable. What is that?
It means that no one can penetrate your body. Nobody can interfere with your body. Yeah.
Huh.
Ain't that a good one?
Oh, yeah.
This is like chaotic libertarianism or something.
What happened to that one 3 years ago?
The freedoms of others should be respected. They threw that out the window, including the freedom to offend. Yeah, they threw that out the window. To willfully and unjustly encroach on the freedoms of others to forego one's own. Beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. Wow, they really threw that one out the window. People are fallible. They threw that out the window when it came to Fauci, that's for sure. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. You see,
it sounds like it's a chaotic religion. Like if it was in D&D, it's not lawful. It's not, because it's like good and righteousness should prevail over law and order.
I'll tell you what it comes off to me. It's people who are secular atheists who created a religion for the sake of a position in religious arguments. They use Satan specifically as a way to insult and offend the majority religion in the country, in the world, Christianity. And then they make what many people would find to be reasonable statements as a means of convincing you Satan is good.
Is it Lucifer? Is that the same thing?
I believe Lucifer was like the angel of light and like knowledge. So I think
I believe they're different. But I don't know enough about it.
We have freedom of religion in this country, and people could believe whatever they want to believe in. If they want to believe in some like meatball, pineapple thing in the sky, go ahead. We have the right here in America to do this. Some politicians don't believe in that personal liberty, including individuals like Ron DeSantis that talked about this very specific issue, saying that he wouldn't allow it and he doesn't view this as a legitimate religion. Just because you don't recognize a religion doesn't mean it's not a religion for some. It is a religion for some. It's not my religion. I disagree with it. I think a lot of the tenets should be called out, especially within the government. But using government force to go after people's religion is something that I am absolutely allergic to and adverse to.
Think about the tenets I read, where they say something like your body is subject to your own will, freedom should be respected, don't distort science, all these things. They want you to agree with these things as a reasonable, and then say, see, isn't Satan good?
Right.
That's the game they're playing. These tenets have nothing to do with what Satan represents. They're trying to. It's like cult building. They will present you something very reasonable, like, "Hey, would you like to join our club? We serve pizza on Fridays." And you're like, "Wow, I would love to come to a pizza party." Then when you show up, they lock the doors and start preaching about Satan. Like,
what is Satan? Is it the devil?
I think they try to use Satan as an analogy, or
right.
It's for knowledge and science and finding the truth and justice. Like Satan, like not. It's a way to just like, I don't know,
like question authority.
So question authority to not fall, I guess, for like other religions that morality. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna look into it though. But I do believe that it's something that has to be protected, though. Ron
DeSantis was asked about this in Iowa, and he said it was Trump's fault because it was a Trump administration that officially recognized the Satanic Temple as a religion. And he said, he said he wouldn't do it, right, Luke? I know that he said
the Trump administration gave them approval to be under the IRS as a religion. It very well may be because of that ruling under Donald Trump that they may have had the legal leg to stand on. My view is that it's not a religion, quote Ron DeSantis.
And he said more than that. He said, not a religion the founding fathers were trying to create.
Well, that's subjective. And I think it's dangerous.
The founding fathers weren't trying to create religion.
Right. And I think it's dangerous. I mean, Ron DeSantis is my second choice, but after Trump, but I think a lot of the things he says are dangerous when it comes to speech and when it comes to religion, like these type of things. I don't think it's fair to define someone's religion, really. I don't, as much as abhorrent it is, just the same way with speech. Like, people used to say, I'll defend your right to say whatever you want, even though I think it's disgusting. And nowadays that's completely not the way it is anymore. So I do feel like we have to defend religions that are horrible, like Satanism, I'm assuming, and terrible speech. People, the ACLU used to protect the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
This is multiculturalism, and this is why it don't work.
Is this in a political building? Was it where this all
Capitol?
Is it righteous for people to put up religious icons in political buildings?
No, and they shouldn't have done it.
So the Ten Commandments is the mistake here. Is the
I
one
think
who went
that
and did
the
that
Ten
first?
Commandments going up was like the thing that set this off. They wanted to sort of counter the Ten Commandments.
There is no reality in which a righteous Christian person will tolerate satanic imagery being put in their buildings. And at the same time, secular atheists and woke cultists will not tolerate Christian Christian governance.
Yes.
So multiculturalism, it won't work. He said, quote, I saw this blasphemous statue and was outraged. My conscience is held captive to the word of God, not to bureaucratic decree, and so I acted.
I mean, I could see myself doing that. I know that sounds terrible. Like, people have bad tempers, but like if I saw a satanic statue, I mean, I would have to pay the price. If, get arrested, probably pay a fine, and maybe even go to jail. But like, people become infuriated when they see that type of thing. If I saw a satanic statue in a government building, I might chop its head off.
That's the attitude of BLM.
Right. And I'm sorry, it's an emotional attitude. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't be subject to the law then, that then I wouldn't be arrested or have to pay a fine. And, face the public.
There's value to being calm in the face of being taunted,
Right.
because this was obviously someone who was trying to taunt somebody with this, and it worked.
Yeah,
It did.
James Lindsay had retweeted something earlier about this. Someone made a meme video. The left uses this tactic of mid-level violence. We've talked about it a bit. It's the "I'm not touching you" tactic. They showed a video where a woman was sprinkling glitter on conservatives' heads, and the cop came up to her and said, "You've just committed assault. If you
Right.
do it again, you'll be removed." And he goes, "I didn't touch them."
Right.
Well, you don't need to touch someone to commit assault, depending on the jurisdiction. But this is the game they play, attempting to provoke a reaction from you so that you look like the aggressor and look
Right.
unreasonable.
well, it's a very real
My
thing.
response to that was very simple. I'm like, if someone sprinkles something over you, just start gagging and fall down and then throw up and say that they mace you or something.
That's the soccer tactic.
If exactly, play the soccer game. If they're gonna sprinkle something on you, then you need to overreact. Like, they're trying to do something so minimal to you that when you react, you give the escalation, and your escalation creates the appearance. Sprinkling glitter on most people goes unnoticed. You swatting their hand away now looks like you struck them for no
But
reason.
if you're like, ah, like
And
really,
you fall down, and then your friend goes, "He's allergic, man. He's allergic to aluminum dioxide. What are you doing, man?" And then call the police. Like, they poisoned him. All of a sudden, now everyone's like, "Whoa, what happened?" Like, that lady was spraying with something. You got to play soccer with these people because they're trying to play soccer with you. So when they put the satanic imagery in the Capitol, smacking it is exactly what they wanted.
Right.
Now they're going to come out and they're going to make a bunch of propaganda based off of it. They're going to say that the right is intolerant, doesn't respect free speech. They're going to say the right doesn't respect the First Amendment. They're going to say things like they never believed in free speech in the first place, et cetera, et
This
cetera.
sounds like half a story. What happened to the Ten Commandments thing that started it all off?
Well, that's not a part of this story, so I don't know.
I wonder if they tore that down, or maybe it was a different area. Tough to say.
Well, what you said about, the left doing this stuff, like, for example, when I'm sometimes reporting in New York, they do this thing where they put their umbrella in front of your camera and the police can't do anything about it. The police be like, but they're not touching you. Or they'll take umbrellas and put it in front of your face so you can't see. And then if you push it away, you could get in trouble. And it's like this.
You got to play soccer.
It's infuriating. It is. You have to really sit there and just like calm your temper down because you just want to take the umbrella and break it. But then you're breaking someone's property, even though they're marring you.
That's what
from
they're trying
walking
to get you
forward.
to do.
Non-physical
But
interference is interesting.
If someone held up an umbrella, you know what? I use the Frasier example. It's an old classic episode of Frasier. So Frasier Crane is enjoying a nice a cup of coffee in his favorite seat at his local cafe. He's in a rather bad mood. And he gets up to go get stirrers or something. And when he comes back, there's a man sitting in his chair. He's fed up. He had a bad day. He says, "Sir, you're sitting in my seat." The guy tells him to screw off. Frasier gets mad, picks the guy up and throws him out. That guy files charges and sues Frasier for assault and battery. And now Frasier's in trouble. It's going to cost him a ton of money. What do I do? At the end of the episode, he confronts the guy. And Niles, Frasier's brother, walks up and says, "You listen here. You're suing my brother and you're in the wrong." The guy filing the lawsuit then says, "No, you listen to me," and pokes his chest. And then Niles goes, "Whoa," and falls over and smashes into a table. And he goes, "Countersuit, countersuit," thus ending the whole thing. And the guy's like, I didn't do anything to him. They're like, "We saw you. You hit him. You hit him and he fell down." That's the game they're trying to play with you. The problem is people on the right are so noble and honorable. They're like, I won't do that. The left knows that the right is trying to play fair. And so they know they can play dirty. Better example, Jack Posobiec gets punched in public on camera. The police witness it happen and pull up. Antifa says, "No, it didn't happen. I didn't see anything happen. What are you talking about?" Lying. Fortunately, the police watched it happen and arrested the guy. But that's the game they're playing with you. So
I don't think
take
God,
for what it is.
I don't think that God cares about iconography. Like, if you're in a room surrounded by evil-looking satanic imagery and you stay calm, God will be pleased. That is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to freak out in the eyes of like being taunted.
Perhaps, but "thou shalt not have false idols" is, I believe that's one of the commandments. Which one is that?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, I thought that was number
It
2.
is the second commandment. But then false idols could be anything. It could be, a lot of people say the Catholic saints are false idols. I mean, I'm Catholic, but I'm just saying that's what people say. Like, saints are false idols.
I think if you worship a human, that is a false idol, personally. Like, we're not supposed to worship people. That makes no
Right.
sense. That's why I get edgy about Jesus. Like, the people worship Jesus. I think it's a false idol.
Yeah, but you can revere people for their good deeds.
I agree, but worship God, but acknowledge that humans. I mean, to say that Jesus is God, it's
well,
like, whoa.
that is
Please.
a Christian belief that Jesus is God.
Trinity,
That's
yeah.
what I believe.
Jesus is
and,
God.
and I am named for Saint Timothy. And do you know what he is the saint of?
Oh yeah, good digestion.
Yes,
That's right.
Saint Timothy is the patron saint of gastrointestinal distress.
I love the saints.
I am
think
not
they're,
kidding.
They're super
Really?
legit.
Yes.
Like I would think
when you're having gut problems, you
Right.
pray to Saint.
Okay.
I would think Jesus is a saint. Like I would consider him Saint Jesus instead of worrying about just
in the
worship
Christian
God.
religion, he's the Son of God who died on the cross to, make man live forever. So he's more than God. I mean, he is God
He's
in the
the
Christian
human incarnation
religion.
of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.